Yes, James Fours, this live stream really is at 3:06 a.m. What is going on, everyone? And we're talking about a massive order that I've done by Nootropics Depot. And during this video, I do want everyone to let me know if you need a, or if you request a particular nootropic to be reviewed in a future video. Then I'm all about trying to provide better content. So what I got here is my full order just came in. It's about $1,400 worth of newts. So nothing really new as far as I got my oxyrastam, I got rhodiola rosea, caffeine, L-theanine, alpha GPC, Noopept, KSM66, pramiracetam, bacopa, L-tyrosine, lion's mane again, aniracetam, phenylpiracetam. I've got, and then as far as like new products are concerned, or things that I'm trying, thanks to everybody else. Well, we got 14 people here. That was quick. Guys, don't mind giving this thing a like. I'm really excited to try this product out, the Tomcat Alley, because is this, as you know, is one of my favorite nootropics out there as far as magical herbs to boost your testosterone levels, all things being equal in terms of safetiness, effectiveness. So this is the 10% content versus the other one. And is with this product, it's really neat because what they've done is rather than having it in capsule form, they have these out in tablets at Nootropics Depot. And the reason they've done that is just because it makes it simple to cut these in half, because it's especially potent. If you are to, tablets, you're able to cut them in half, whereas with the capsule form, unfortunately, if you were to, basically pull this thing apart, if it was a capsule, you would still have to take down the taste. And for a lot of people, this is one of the worst tasting nootropics out there. So Tomcat Alley, I like this, although I'm liking the powder version, the other form, better so far. And it's been about, I think, 5-6 days. So that's pretty cool. That's the Tomcat Alley. And what is going on, guys? Is it true that the election was a fraud? I do not know. But don't mind, I'm gonna just go through this list real quick, and then I'll be definitely hopping on answering some questions. So let me know what your questions are, and I'm looking for some. Hey, if you want me to review any of these nootropics here, then that's what it's about, providing better value. So let me know, and I'm gonna post a video. Otherwise, chaga mushroom capsules, I've got those, and they have that in the capsule form as well as the powder. So I've bought that. I've got the sativa extract capsules, also known as black seed extract. Looking forward to that. Cordyceps. With respect to cordyceps, it's more of a supplement really for cardiovascular benefits. Kind of one of those things you take for overall health. But I've tried it in the past, hasn't done much for me. However, as you all know, nootropics is all about trying a particular nootropic with a different stack to see if you can get a result if you don't get anything the first time. Here's the Shilajit. Here's the cordyceps. This is it's 10-to-1 mushroom extract. This is supposed to be especially potent. What else? We got the Shodan. Man, I'm horribly disorganized now. I put these things apart. This is a newer form of ashwagandha. This is the Shodan. So far, what I'm feeling from this, it's more effective than the KSM66 and the Sensorol. And however, I don't feel this is as appropriate for sleep versus the other two forms. I'm liking this so far. Next, we got Triacetyl Uridine. This is, unfortunately, I should have actually gotten more of this because it's in capsule form. 25 milligrams. This is from Nootropics Depot. If you're taking choline, I don't really think that this is that necessary. Haven't noticed much from it too far, but I'm hoping to get some sort of mental energy. And then we got the Shilajit powder and the capsules. So this is Shilajit here. This is one thing which tastes awful, almost as bad as Tomcat Alley. So I'm glad I got it in the capsule form and the powder. And then as far as with the racetams, knowing, after what's happened to paracetam, I'm terribly concerned that maybe the other racetams are just a matter of time until they're gone and they're not available. So I've gotten this huge tub, biggest tub I've ever gotten of aniracetam, I think 250 grams. This should last quite a bit of time. And then as well as oxyrastam and pramiracetam. Pramiracetam, this is one of the more expensive nootropics, but I would definitely recommend it in the capsule form over the powder form. Think of this like the best nootropic out there for discipline, willpower, repetitive tasks, getting a lot of work done. Like it, this is 300 milligrams per capsule, whereas other racetams are anywhere between 500 milligrams to 1 gram in order to get the benefit. So I'm excited for that. And then Noopept, 30 milligrams is a very high dose, yet I like the 30 milligram capsules if let's say there's a particular day where you only have to work like 3 or 4 hours, excuse me, versus the whole day. Then you're better off just taking 30 milligrams of Noopept. You only and for those few hours, and you'll feel really focused, effective. You'll get a lot done. And let's jump on to questions. But I'm excited, guys. I'll let you know how. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know as far as how these things work. I'm really hoping that with the absence of Paracetam, I can still feel like my best self, because I have noticed like ambition is slightly less. Overall sharpness, work ethic. Paracetam is some really effective stuff. So thankfully, we still have oxiracetam, Noopept, aniracetam, and pramiracetam. And let's look at the participants here and questions. What is going on, guys? Ravinder Singh, James, Aliyah, Dawit, Kelvin, James Fours, Indian YouTuber, nice name. Tolkera, Georges, Rohan, Steven, Tom, Habibi Love, Ben R. All right, cool. Bro, I'm loading Paracetam. Do you have any advice? Yeah, the Paracetam, different than aniracetam and oxiracetam, you're better off taking more. So nothing wrong with taking like 1 gram of it like 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once say 4 hours afterwards, and then 4 hours after that. And what you should expect is after about a couple weeks, provided that you're taking it with a choline source, my favorite being alpha GPC, think of it like verbal fluency will be better. Your mental sharpness will be better. You should feel as effective, like more effective in the later portion of the day. We all get, we're all going to tend to get a little bit fatigued. As the day progresses, things happen, bad incidents happen, goods happen, bads happen, and you generally are less effective. Not with Paracetam, it seems to allow you to still be sharp. So that's pretty cool. And overall work ethic definitely improved. Advice beyond that, no, just make sure you get it. Make sure you're consistent with it. You're not missing a dose. Just find a way to get it in your schedule. The best being for most people is like schedule, specific, like consistent times each day, just like what just like people have success waking up at the same time every day. Do the same thing with nootropics, nice and simple. I'm attack dosing Paracetam. How much should I take after the loading phase? That would depend how much you're taking during the attack dose. Obviously, you would taper down a little bit. Do you ever have nightmares or stacked? Do you ever have nightmares or stacked with very negative thoughts at sleep because of big doses of nootropics? I can't believe I'm saying this, but phenibut did cause me to have some sleep paralysis the other day. If you aren't familiar with sleep paralysis, many of you have probably heard of it. Is imagine waking up in the middle of your sleep and you're able to look around, but you're not able to move your body. It should only happen if you're very sleep deprived. It happened to me prior. The first time when I probably didn't sleep probably like 4 to 5 days. I maybe slept intentionally like an hour each day because I was studying through exams, and I had the sleep paralysis back then. And it was, obviously because I wasn't sleeping properly. And the first time it happens, it's very scary. You wake up, you just can't move your body for about 20, 30 seconds. And then suddenly it's like, you get the proper electrical signals to move your body. So this happened the other day, despite actually being somewhat well rested. And then I looked it up on Google, and it was from the phenibut, and you can read the experiences with this. So that was pretty scary. But as far as after the first time you have sleep paralysis, it's no longer scary because you know what it is. You just, I looked on Google the first time saying, why did I wake up not being able to feel my, not being able to move my body? Beyond that, as far as negative thoughts during sleep, nightmares, no, nothing really like that. But maybe what helps is that I don't really take nootropics late at night. And that's the same thing with the phenibut. I didn't take it too late. Does lion's mane cause forgetfulness? I'm definitely better mood-wise, but what do you know? Do the distinction between remembering something and being in a good mood? Yeah, no, Rohan, that's a little bit surprising, because as your mood improves, likely your stress levels are going to be lower, your cortisol levels are going to be lower, and you should have a better memory. So I would probably think, Rohan, there should be nootropics that you should add along with lion's mane. Very often I see when people are not responding well to adding a particular nootropic to their stack, very often it's because there's not a good amount of choline thus raised with it. There's a lot of times like a direct correlation between the intake of other nootropics and your the choline and the amount of choline you should be taking. Like I was on a call the other day and somebody mentioned they added aniracetam, and if they felt good for the first few days, then followed by a little bit of brain fog, to which I asked them, were you supplementing as well with choline? And the answer was no. So that would, Rohan, be the first thing. And I'd be curious to know what else you're taking. And you may benefit by trying some other nootropics as well to go along with that. Watch that video which I've made on how to create the best nootropic stack. It's one of my latest videos, and you should find that helpful. And guys, don't mind giving this thing a like. Hopefully we can get some people up in here, and we'll get some Q&A for about 10 minutes. And yeah, as far as if you guys just hopped on, I mentioned like this whole bunch of, I got, spent like a ton of money on nootropics. So I'm hoping to come up with some good videos for you guys. Going to make the video on cordyceps, although I haven't noticed much from it. Looking forward to trying Shilajit. I think Shilajit and Chaga are two of the nootropics I'm most excited about using. With respect to Shilajit, we're looking at improvements of testosterone, general cognition, overall health. Seems to be like a healthy nootropic. Muscle mass. With that one specifically, Shilajit, it's one of the only nootropics that they took, and there's research behind it working in healthy young individuals that were exercising, versus most nootropics showing the research claims are as such that they were used in elderly people with dementia or some sort of like cognitive impairments. Not with this. So pretty excited for it. But after discovering like Tonkat Ali, Tribulus, ZMA, some of the other nootropics that I mentioned with the in my other video on top 4 nootropics for a testosterone boost, I don't know what really could get too much better than Tonkat Ali. It's some really good stuff. I purchased Alpha GPC. Steven says, I purchased Alpha GPC and Oxyrastam. I feel like I don't really feel anything. Do you feel like I need something stronger? I can't tell if it's working or not. Yeah, Steven, there are some people who really do feel Oxyrastam working at first, and even Alpha GPC. But in my opinion, I mean, if you're comparing it to something like caffeine, coffee, it's not that effective. It may take a bit of time, Steven. What's so is you may feel slightly stimulated. Ultimately, though, I would hope that you are engaged in some sort of work where you can be very objective with your results. If you're studying, or if you're in sales, or something where day by day you can like track down what your results are, then likely you should see it doing something. Because I would hope that you're looking at your results more than your general feeling. Although because there's going to be nootropics which are going to boost your mood, but in terms of objectively, they may not benefit you. So it's completely common, Steven. I'm not sure how long you've been on them for. I would say give it a good give it like 4 to 6 weeks at least. Hey Mike, are you using taurine at the moment? Tom, I am using taurine, although I don't think it's completely necessary, especially for those of you not looking to take too many nootropics. I already have maybe 12, 13 nootropics in my stack. So the reason I'm taking taurine is because it's in my pre-workout, and I mean, I do have some extra, but I'm not, really going out of my way to get it into my stack. If anything, I'll use it for working out purposes. It's a nice amino acid. Come to think of it, like something which can help with energy, especially when you're using like caffeine. I could find that it almost works like synergistically with caffeine. So you kind of get this like nice, kind of extended, nice, like slow lasting release of energy from caffeine when I'm using it. But as far as like throw it a fast, if you're intermittent fasting, I don't think it's absolutely necessary. What do you suggest for passing an exam? Habibi, Paracetam and Bacopa are my 2 favorite nootropics specifically for studying, because they're going to help you with energy, they're going to help you with work ethic, and they're going to really help you with memory. And they work really well for me. Beyond that, as far as herbs, my favorite would be Rhodiola rosea, because it's going to help you to fight fatigue. And a lot of times when it comes to studying, we need to just some extra drive to push us to work, study those 2 or 3 extra hours. And that's really going to help you, especially in the later portion of the day. Like you take 300 to 400 milligrams of Rhodiola rosea around 6, 7 o'clock. And yeah, you're in a good space to get some evening studying done. Have you ever tried FL Modafinil? No, I have not. Not yet. Have you found 48% bacoside Bacopa? That's a good question. Maybe in the past, although I didn't notice a difference. But like Bacopa and Rhodiola rosea are 2 nootropics where different brands haven't made a huge difference. They seem to all yield similar type of results. What happened to Paracetam there? I don't know. There was an interesting post on Reddit, Nootropics Depot, in which it may be something, it may be related to, like the disease going on right now. I'm actually not allowed to say the word of the pandemic, as per YouTube rules, surprisingly, but something to do with that and the FDA, and we just don't have Paracetam, so it is what it is. We shall find a way without it. Is Lion's Mane safe to take in the morning with coffee? P.S. You're the best. Thank you for that, Bob. safe to take. Yeah, I think for most people, I mean, of course, be mindful of interactions. Be mindful if you're taking prescriptions that are recommended by your GP, then that's a different, then that's different from case to case. Overall, though, lion's mane safe to take with coffee, I would say yes. There's a reason why they have the 4-sigmatic coffee there with 1,500 milligrams of lion's mane. Do I think it's effective? I don't really know. Like in terms of lion's mane, it's not for all kinds of work. I actually don't think lion's mane is that effective for students personally, because it can actually prevent you from concentrating at your very best capabilities. Because lion's mane, I mean, it's the curiosity like nootropic, where everything's interesting, everything's exciting. You suddenly want to, and you suddenly find yourself engaging in new hobbies. So what's so is if you really want like that, like tunnel vision focus, the ability to like shut down all your distractions. It may not be the best. Just really depends, Bob, on what you're trying to do. Thanks for your suggestion on that med. It was very helpful on my exam. Jovem, which med or which nootropic are you referring to? Gara's, man, we got a lot of questions related to studying. I have an exam coming up in December. What would you recommend? Well, okay, let's see if I can give you a little bit of a different answer. Let me look at my nootropics. Pramaracetam, this is also some good stuff for those of you who still Pramaracetam. This is 300 milligrams. Willpower, discipline in a capsule, and take some things which can aid your memory. That's the biggest thing when it comes to nootropics and getting the benefit with studying for sure. I have attack dosing. Okay, very cool. You know what? Dawit attack. Okay. Dawit is attack dosing 3.2 grams of piracetam a day. After 2 weeks, you're planning to reduce that. You'd be surprised because you may consider that an attack dose, but a lot of people are taking that dose consistently. And I've not found with piracetam that taking too much of it has hurt me in any way. Others may report different things. If anything, that would just be mindful of your choline intake. You can try that, taper it down a little bit, see if you can still do just as well by taking like 2 grams per day, maybe 700 milligrams 3 times a day. So 300 milligrams, 700 milligrams 3 times a day. That comes out to just over 2 grams, and you should be good. I have caffeine, L-theanine 1 to 2, Bacopa, Ashwagandha. What else to add for studying? I mean, there's a lot of things in YouTube where it's like, what have you tried and what have you not tried? Use the caffeine and L-theanine strategically. I personally, when I was studying, I didn't like caffeine that much because with caffeine, it's as if you're able to get through more material than usual because you're energized, you're focused. But at the end of the day, caffeine and stimulants, they can almost like reduce blood flow to your brain, which can prevent you to kind of like consolidate things to your memory long term. If that makes sense, let me know. There's been a lot of incidents where I was studying with caffeine, and it was as such that I almost you don't feel as intelligent as typically to be able to associate things and be able to find a way to really remember them when that time matters that you're studying for your exam. In terms of caffeine, L-theanine, no, I think that's a really good approach to take the 1 to 2 versus the 2 to 1 because cognitively speaking, most people report better benefits taking spreading out their caffeine throughout the course of the day versus having just a boatload of caffeine at once, right? I'm preparing for L-tyrosine. I'm preparing for L-tyrosine and rhodiola rosea. You're preparing for it, eh? You don't have a memory problem. It's a concentration problem, mate. I'm not sure who that comment was directed for, but nice to see you up in here, Nitin. Hey, Mike, good day. What is up, Jen Jax? Could you make a video about Mucuna pruriens, L-dopa? Yeah, Damon, I definitely should in the future. I know that it's like that nootropic is a little bit hard to find. What it is, it's good for overall like mood, come to think of it like a nice mood stabilizer, nice mood regulator. A lot of people find that with L-dopa, they are less likely to have those bad emotional responses to things throughout the course of the day. What is the best stimulant you've come across for so many years to resolve procrastination? Bupropion. Okay, nice. They gave me like a multiple choice. So, okay, what's the best stimulant you've come across for so many years for resolving procrastination? Bupropion, Ritalin, Concerta, Adderall. I would think the answer is Concerta. Although these, I mean, all four of these options are like, they're not things which you could, you would just be able to just get, if you know what I mean. So with Concerta, you're, from the moment you think of something, you have so much you're so optimistic that any decision is naturally going to feel like a good decision, because you're really internalizing that provided you make a decision, you're still moving forward. Like fast decisions. At the end of the day, provided that 51% of your decisions are the right decisions, you should be good. Adderall, I'm sure, would be more effective though, but Concerta, from my experience with Bupropion, didn't really do that. I mean, too much. You're a little bit calmer. You're more willing to take action. Although, as far as that training that muscle to come up with something and be able to, come up with an idea and execute on it that quickly, hasn't really helped too much. Is Tejaswi says, what is going on, Tejaswi? Is Pramrastam good to increase work ethic, like doing boring things like studying? Will it help? Yes, 100%. Not only does Pramrastam help you to get started and do your work, but finish it. It is the best nootropic for boring tasks. You're really able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can really just internalize like that reward system. Everything is working right. Shilajit is warm in nature. You have to burn it out later, like exercise. That's so funny, because I was talking about this nootropic, and turns out that my grandma takes Shilajit. Like, my grandma's been taking Shilajit for 25 years, and she was saying that they don't recommend you take it in the summertime, surprisingly, because it just makes you warm. Kind of like one of those things. There's some foods you would avoid in the summer because you can get nosebleeds and stuff, right? Can you mix modafinil with smoking? I am not sure about that, but I don't think you should smoke to begin with. Valerian Root, teenage experiment. Valerian Root is some good stuff. Speaking of Valerian Root, you look at those little oils over there, those essential oils. They're for my diffuser thing. That's aromatherapy, and I just bought one which contains Valerian Root, so I'm excited to try that thing out. Valerian Root, come to think of it, like almost like a stronger version of chamomile tea. It's relaxing, should allow you to get to sleep a little bit easier, excuse me. Not really that effective. Don't think of it like a supplement like melatonin. Doesn't taste that great, so capsule is good. And it's a nootropic supplement that you would take like 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes before sleeping. It works very well, actually, though. I remember I was taking it for 6 months straight. 6 months straight a few years ago, and then I ran out of it. Never ended up getting it again. Not against it, and feels healthy. You wake up feeling a little bit more refreshed. Just thing is, it's one of those things. It's like a 10% increase. So you can tell it's working, but it's not enough to justify you getting another bottle of it. Hey, does Nootropics KSM66 really work? Yes. From taking KSM66 for a long time, mixing it with different stacks, getting it out of my stack, putting it in, I'm pretty convinced that it's one of those nootropics I'll probably be taking for the rest of my life, because it's such you can physically cope with more stress, like the cortisol levels down, inflammation's down, it's healthy. You have a better relationship to like work, stress. You're in a better mood. There's some people who can make the argument that KSM66 can relax you too much, maybe make you a bit lethargic, maybe demotivate you. But the pros outweigh the cons. And if you are somewhat concerned about it being somewhat demotivating, then I would recommend that you pair it up with some Noopep, like something like 300 milligrams of ashwagandha with 10 milligrams of Noopep 3 times a day. And you're in a good spot to be relaxed, present, and at the same time very productive. Jan Jack's giving me a big thanks, because 6 months, he says, he had zero knowledge of nootropics, and now he's seeing results. Jen, I appreciate you, and appreciate you guys willing to tune into this channel and just execute right. Does Bacognize Bacopa induce drowsiness? Is Synapsa better? Teenage experiment, very similar to what I just mentioned with ashwagandha KSM66. Almost the same thing. I would think the only difference with Bacopa and ashwagandha is more people notice a lower sex drive with Bacopa. With ashwagandha, that's not so common. Bacopa more so. But with drowsiness, I would say no. If anything, with Bacognize and Synapsa, I feel slightly stimulated. It's like this strange stimulation. You become more present. Like you wake up for a second. Does kind of lower your emotions a little bit. wouldn't say drowsiness though. You won't find Bacopa in any sleep supplements out there. My stack is, Jen says, it's opened my eye to the world of nootropics. That's happened with all of us. It's like, welcome to the rabbit hole of looking for the best nootropic and looking for that limitless pill. What a life. There's not a lot of things which excite me as much as nootropics. It's like going to a supplement store is, man, it's like waking up for Christmas in the morning. My stack is green tea with lion's mane and a mushroom complex. It works great for me. I would love to add something for memory boost. Any suggestions? Many thanks. You got me into the lion's mane. Okay, very cool. Good to know. My stack is green tea with lion's mane and a mushroom complex. Something for memory boost. Yeah, Vincible, there's a number of things which can help you with memory. Unfortunately, when you look at the adaptogens, a lot of the herbal nootropics, because racetams aren't available everywhere, not that much besides Bacopa is going to help you with your memory, unfortunately. Like Ashwagandha didn't help me too much. Rhodiola rosea didn't. I don't think it's that effective with improving your memory unless you're somebody who you consider yourself to be experiencing chronic stress. Best things really have been alpha GPC, like a choline source, maybe CDP choline, piracetam, pramiracetam, and maybe oxiracetam. Morning, would you rate the cognetic supplement? I just actually had some not too long ago. I like it a lot. Cognetic supplement, it's better than Alpha Brain, probably better than Mind Lab Pro, but is not as good as Qualia Mind for a lot of reasons. It contains, I think, 5 to 7 ingredients, whereas Qualia Mind contains like 30. So what's great about Cognetics is they've got the good nootropics there. They've got the Bacopa Minieri, they've got the L-tyrosine, they have lion's mane, all good, good doses of it. It's a pretty solid product. It could be more effective in terms of boosting your energy levels. They don't have any caffeine there. They don't really have enough L-tyrosine to cause it to be that effective for you. If they maybe add like a lot of L-tyrosine, maybe add a lot of Alcar and perhaps a little bit more choline, then you would actually feel something and you would get like 2 to 3 hours of good focus. But this Cognetics product, I see it more applicable as something you would take in the later portion of the day to like fight fatigue. If you're somebody, for example, that just finds yourself drained following work, if you work like a 9 to 5, Cognetics is something you would take at 5 to help you go and maybe work a couple hours on your side hustle when you go back home. Not something which will, you could take in the morning and feel invincible. But it's a really decent product though. I like it. Does Tonkat Ali affect the thyroid at all? I took Ashwagandha in the past, but it gave me hyperthyroid symptoms. I'm wondering if Tonkat would do the same to me. Thanks, man. I was wondering the same thing, and you see, studies don't show that yet, but my guess would be it would, because it's almost like they boost testosterone in a very similar way. So we can only guess because at this point there's not enough research done on Tonkat Ali. It wouldn't be as effective with ashwagandha, and that's interesting to hear because I've had hypothyroidism. Well, I still do. So I take prescribed thyroid. I take T3, Cytomel. I take 50. Yeah, I take 225s every morning, but haven't really noticed a boost in ashwagandha for me anyway. Give me 3 Mississippis, guys. I wish I could take rhodiola. I took it one time and stayed up for 48 hours. You got to be kidding me. What is the best Vyvanse/Adderall booster or something good to take with it? YOLO for me, what worked, because with Vyvanse and Adderall, you suddenly feel like you don't need to sleep anymore and you're going to be studying throughout the whole night, or you're going to be doing some sort of work. So what worked with me was not caffeine, but specifically one nootropic called Phosphatidylserine. It's like it exclusively only work with those because I was somewhat sleep deprived. So phosphatidylserine is one of the only nootropics out there that has a lot of research behind it in reducing your cortisol levels aside from ashwagandha. And I remember taking phosphatidylserine on those days when I was somewhat sleep deprived and like really feeling productive, energized, just feeling sharp for a few hours. I enjoyed it a lot. Hey, what should I go with, modafinil or armodafinil? Indrajit, I tried armodafinil before modafinil. I think it was armodafinil in 2014, modafinil 2015, something like that. Depends on you. If you're depends what kind of work you're doing. If you're doing work which is like balanced in different types of ways, but assuming you're studying, you're making presentations, you kind of require your social skills. And as well, your skills to have some sort of analytical edge, then armodafinil might be better. Where modafinil becomes better is for independent work. Think of it like a bookkeeper. You know, you're whatever you're doing taxes, you're in an office, you're not talking to people. That's where modafinil is really good. You have an improved level of focus, improved work ethic, and at the same time, your mood is somewhat boosted. But with our modafinil, what makes it somewhat better is that, number one, you're able to have naps, and secondly, the crash is not as bad as it is with modafinil. With modafinil, it's like you can kind of tell you're on something, but with our modafinil, kind of not so much. YOLO Bro says, you're right about Concerta. Everything feels like a good idea. I remember when I was on, when I was on Concerta, just you feel like anything's possible. You'll tell yourself, wow, if I keep this if I keep this up in 5 years from now, I will have a tremendously transformed life. Yet at the same time, when you're taking Concerta, you have this anxiety knowing you can't be taking the stuff together because you feel superhuman. And I know that like it may sound a bit far-fetched, but it is not. It's damn effective. What should you tell? Yeah, JR, we are not allowed questions like that up in here, so I got to remove that. You probably addressed this in another video, but does melatonin induce dependence? Hasn't been my experience. The teenage experiment with melatonin, though, it's very addicting, and because of that, people tend to take too much of it. They'll start off taking like one microgram, they raise it, and then they're just in a bad trap. Overall, though, that's been my experience. Provided that you like discipline yourself to taking a very low amount, then you should actually be okay taking it every day for a month. I'm not necessarily against it. There's some interesting research showing that melatonin can raise your growth hormone level, can actually improve your fat loss if you take just small amounts, you take it the right way. Best form of magnesium, what do you think? I'm not sure. I'm not the magnesium expert actually, because hasn't been that effective for me versus other people. However, it's been my experience, and some studies do suggest that if you're looking for the sleep benefit, very often females respond better, as well as people like somewhat older. Think of it like 40s plus. I'm not that convinced that people like many of us late 20s or in our 30s can benefit that much from it. What nootropic is nice for going to a festival? That depends what kind of festival. Does lion's mane work right away, or does it take some days or weeks before it works? Tobias, depends who you ask. I didn't notice it working at first. It took me, I think, about a couple months. But once you can really identify what it does, becomes more obvious. Now, after about a couple weeks, you definitely feel more present. You have a better relationship with kind of like work, your personal life. You're able to kind of more easily see the brighter side of things without being stimulated. Most really strong mood enhancers are stimulants in like most cases, but with lion's mane, you're calm, you're present, you finish the day feeling good. You're more likely to kind of focus on your wins throughout the course of the day versus your failures, and you feel like really unattached to the outcome. If you don't have a plan B, it's okay. So I personally now I'm taking lion's mane I have been taking lion's mane 3 times a day, because you should feel this slight mood boost every time you take it, like 300 milligrams to 500 milligrams. Take the right type. I like the 8-to-1 lion's mane by Nootropic Steeple. Just depends who you ask. This may sound insane, but it's like the more stressed you are, the more lion's mane seems to work. If you're not somebody that is going through like some sort of stressful experiences, or it has a lot of work going on, lion's mane can actually just make you a bit too lethargic that you may not end up doing anything. What stacks do you recommend for motivation midday and ready to take on future tasks? Oh, Omar Smith, that's a great question. That would be rhodiola rosea. I was looking at Reddit Nootropics, and there was the question of what is your favorite adaptogen, all things being considered, and it would definitely be rhodiola rosea. I would say that one nootropic has made me money, whereas other nootropics haven't. It's improved my grades where other nootropics haven't. Other herbs, adaptogens, they've helped me kind of enjoy life more. But when it comes to straight up productivity and getting results, getting things done, rhodiola rosea is some really good stuff. Just want to say I love your channel. You taught me a lot. Good stuff. And I've tried lion's mane because of you, and I truly feel a lot more happier. That's what it is. It's a happy nootropic. Good. That's nice to know, Stephen. I appreciate the feedback and knowing what works. And it brings it up. Hey, lion's mane is probably like one of the nootropics that get the most feedback as far as you know, it working. Any suggestions for starting MG? I have Alpha GPC and Nootropic. Depending, Jason, on how many hours of the day you work. If you're somebody like myself, trying to just, you know, working morning until the evening, maybe you take, you know, you have a few hours of goof off time, but it's not necessarily scheduled, then Alpha GPC, start off with like 100 milligrams 3 times a day. Nootropic, you can start off with 5 milligrams 3 times a day, and then you can taper up to like 150 milligrams, maybe 200 milligrams of Alpha GPC 3 times a day, and about 15 milligrams of Nootropic 3 times a day. I wouldn't go more than that with Nootropic, just because it's such that if you do, you can feel a little bit too stimulated, and it can be a little bit hard to get off of. You can experience a little bit of withdrawals, and it's harder to cycle off of it. When you're taking Nootropic and you're at doses like 50, 60 milligrams per day, which is a lot, you will feel it when you're cycling off. You will feel slightly less sharp, kind of a little bit more tired, as you typically would with stimulants. Would you say Quailiamine is more of a go-to first thing in the morning opposed to Cognetics when you take Cognetics? Yeah, I would definitely say that, because Quailiamine at the end of the day is a nootropic, which is going to energize you. Cognetics, more so just to help you fight fatigue. If you look at the ingredient profile, and you can tell, because Quailiamine, has the vitamin B complex, it has different forms of choline, it has your tyrosine, it has your alcar. This has nootropics, which are going to help you with execution. Cognetics, more like herbs, help you with overall health, keep your stress levels down. Quailiamine, yeah, it's some really good stuff. I was speaking to one of the representatives and asked them why is lion's mane not in Quailiamine, to which it seemed as if they responded that Quailiamine does not contain lion's mane, because Quailiamine is like a get stuff done nootropics, and lion's mane isn't really a nootropic you would consider execution, get stuff done. It's more like improve your mood. Hey, Mike, I just, and if you do have interest in Quailiamine, then do yourself a favor and use my discount code, the Nootropic Reviewer, across all the products. I take the stuff too. I like it a lot. I took the caffeine-free version today. Not that I would recommend it. If you're somebody who's on this channel, I mean, we're all about educating ourselves about nootropics to the fullest, so that we don't go get blends. We kind of educate ourselves throughout trying different stuff in different dosages and different stacks. However, stuff like Quailiamine does have its purpose if we're on vacation, if we're just wanting to get in our nootropic blends because you have a crazy day and we're super busy, right? How can I take L-tyrosine? Oh, sorry, I missed you, Daniel. Hey, Mike, I just bought phenylparastam, modafinil, lion's mane, and alpha GPC. What's the best stack with them? Because you mentioned modafinil, I would recommend, Daniel, you watch the video on my Limitless Nootropic Stack Reveal, because that stack is a stack that is almost tailored or catered to the use of modafinil. It's like, if you're going to use modafinil, what other nootropics can work nicely with it? How can I take L-tyrosine and Bacopa combinations in a day, and is it advisable? Vinod, if you're to ask, is something advisable, provided that you take the nootropics independently and see how you respond to them, then I think you should be okay. Don't use them together if you've never tried them before. If you've never tried them independently before. So L-tyrosine, Bacopa, 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine, 300 milligrams of Bacopa. Two times a day should be good. Maybe 3 times if you're just working straight the whole day and you got a deadline coming up. How do you take lion's mane? Can I take it occasionally, only when I need them, or should I take it every day? The lion's mane is something you should likely take every day. I don't really think there's any cons with doing that. I also have phenibut and adrafinil. Sorry, I had to post 2 times. I had to get a list of all the nootropics. Oh, I see your point, Jason. Phenibut and adrafinil. Okay, you were asking for starting milligrams. Maybe adrafinil like 100 milligrams, maybe 150, which would be similar to like 30 to 50 milligrams of modafinil. Phenibut, I'm not sure. I'm not the pro with phenibut. Maybe 200 milligrams. Is Nootropics Depot 300 micrograms melatonin optimal dose for you? I've not responded too well to the Nootropic Depot version of melatonin. I don't know why. Melatonin, believe me, melatonin, you got to try it in so many different brands. I don't know why. The brand actually does matter. I've tried like 10, 12 different forms of melatonin. The old bodybuilding.com form was really good. However, for Nootropics Depot, for whatever reason, their melatonin doesn't work so well with me. I believe they have an extended release product. And yeah, I think I did try the extended release melatonin. That as well didn't work too well for me. Who knows? Maybe it's just placebo, but I have seen comments on my channel saying the same thing, that all melatonin is not created equal. What non-prescription nootropic is best for working on a computer for hours on end? Like I mentioned before, rhodiola rosea is good, L-tyrosine is good, caffeine, L-theanine good, depending on what your energy level is like. Make sure you're getting a lot of healthy fats. I think that's going to be best. And be mindful of your insulin levels. If you're eating carbohydrates, exercise. And the more exercise you do, the better off you're going to tolerate carbohydrates. Hey, Mike, what is the best nootropic stack in your opinion for relieving anxiety and depression, especially social anxiety and low energy because of it? Anurastam is really good. There's your Anurastam. Looks like this white powder. Oh man, it's so good. Anurastam, good stuff. Rastam is also good. Noopep's good just because it's going to focus. It's going to allow you to be focused, which should give you somewhat of a mood boost. Lion's Mane's good. I think I mentioned that. Bacopa and rhodiola rosea. You should create a video discussing all the main questions asked in each Q&A. I don't know how I would do that, the teenage experiment. And while we're on that topic, guys, I'm looking for video ideas. As I mentioned, I ordered a bunch of stuff. So if there's, replay this live stream from the very beginning because I went over my order. And if you want me to review any particular nootropic from the stack, then I'm more than happy to, because that is what it's all about. From giving you guys content that you haven't seen before. What is your all-time favorite nootropic? Doesn't matter the purpose of nootropic or what it is, just your personal favorite. At this moment, JR, or the past few months, I've really been so impressed with phenylparastam. Like, the more I take it, the more I'm surprised. Like, how is this stuff so effective, and how do more people not know about this? This stuff works, man. It's like more energy, drop in anxiety, better social skills. It can fight off sleep, like a sleep-deprived state. You just simply get a lot done, regardless of how you're feeling that day. If you didn't eat right, if you didn't hydrate right, you're just better state, sharper throughout the whole course of the day. Modafinil helped me a lot with anxiety, depression. Funny thing was that it's not what I got it for. Isn't that cool? I just Niran Kush. Nice. Hey, it's nice to see some newer names on here. Maybe it's just the time of the day which I'm doing this. Niran Kush, Kavesh, Indian YouTuber. Okay, Niran Kush's question says, I just got rhodiola rosea, 300 milligrams alpha GPC, Bacopa. So my question is, which stack is best and when to take it for my studies for exam? Not sure if you're asking which nootropic is best or what stack is best. As far as that stack is concerned, rhodiola rosea, alpha GPC, 500 milligrams of Bacopa. I apologize, Niran Kush. I don't say this often, but you are going to have to type your question in a more clear fashion. Lion's Mane versus L-theanine, which is the best to help focus and maintain a nice mood? For focus and maintaining a nice mood, well, focus L-theanine I think is better than Lion's Mane. Maintaining a nice mood, probably Lion's Mane. You're okay actually mixing them both though. What is the best nootropic from Nootropics Depot? Oh, man, I don't know how to answer that. I run 3 companies. I really need to stay up, happy, excited, awake, patient, energetic, punching people around. What kind of stack do you suggest? Xclim, by the way, Xclim, you asked some great questions. I've seen your questions across my channel, and I was actually responding to a bunch of them earlier, and I appreciate you. Watch the video which I made on the nootropics that I use to double my income. Those are all nootropics that would likely work for you as well. It's the video in which has the thumbnail of me sitting outside my Porsche. If you notice it, it's a different thumbnail, let's just say that. So if you're browsing on my videos, you'll see me outside of a white car. I advise tart cherry extract as a good source of melatonin. That hits you pretty hard, at least for me. Yeah, I've heard about that. Thanks for sharing that. I gave a friend modafinil. He has autism, and it makes him very social. And I don't know why, because it makes me work zombie. It almost makes me not social at all. Yeah, Damon, it's a very inconsistent nootropic. With modafinil, I found that it can make me more social if I'm fasting. However, if I'm if I'm not intermittent fasting and I'm having, you could say, like no feeding window in terms of just eating like 4 square meals, that's where modafinil makes me more like zombie and not social at all. Are you an ENTJ, or have you ever taken a Myers-Briggs personality test? JR, I will answer, but you got to answer too. Why don't we all answer, guys? What does your test show you up as? I am actually an INTJ, which may surprise some of you because you may see me as energetic, but know that it is fake because I am a trained salesperson. Just joking. INTJ it's the professor type, the architect person, systems, processes. Yeah, I just searched up INTJ and you just got like a picture of a professor. What are all of you? I'd be curious to know what kind of personalities we're attracting on this channel, because this is not really an entertainment-based channel. This is an education-based channel. But I appreciate all of you. Reliable, because yeah, from reading all of your comments and your experiences, I'm learning a lot for myself as well. Like, I mean, I'm grateful for you guys because, like, simple example, Tonkat Ali, I checked out this nootropic because I kept on hearing about it from many of you. But I'm hearing less and less about the racetams these days, surprisingly, because I mentioned it and I've been like very transparent that the racetams are what got me into nootropics more so than the herbal stuff, the herbs, the adaptogens. My journey started with racetam, then the other racetams, then Noopept, and definitely saw results in terms of income, better grades, all of that. Gets you to a place where you're so driven, so ambitious, but you do feel like you're overly stressed, and that's where the adaptogens do come into play, which is what I discussed on my other video of like how to create the best nootropic stack. It's kind of like a nice blend of herbs and things which are going to help you to be ambitious and be your best self. What's the best nootropic for researching nootropics? The best nootropic for researching nootropics, take caffeine, maybe take some caffeine and L-theanine. Make sure you're taking the L-theanine, otherwise you'll just experience this fake kind of like this energy from caffeine, but you're too optimistic, almost too euphoric to be able to be somewhat objective. So make sure you have the L-theanine. Take some lion's mane. I find that does improve your analytical abilities. Take some racetams too, and beyond that, maybe some rhodiola rosea to keep your mind right as you're researching. That is such a funny question, but it's an appropriate question. What's the best nootropic for researching nootropics? A lot of intuitive thinkers would like this channel. Yeah, that's true. I just ordered L-theanine and L-tyrosine. At what times do you recommend I take each and how? See, L-theanine and L-tyrosine, I don't see why you would mix them both, because L-theanine is going to calm you. L-tyrosine is going to make you more intense. And with L-tyrosine, you can feel slightly irritable at the later portion of the time in which it's working. So like you take L-tyrosine, it'll probably work for most people for about 90 minutes. Afterwards, you can feel slightly irritable. Maybe that's a good time to use your L-theanine. For me personally, I'm only using L-theanine when I'm using stimulants. So what that would look like is, again, like the 100 milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of L-theanine. So at what times? Use L-tyrosine when pretty much around your workouts. So I use L-tyrosine when I'm taking caffeine pre-workout, and then the other times in which I like taking L-tyrosine, specifically when you're experiencing a caffeine crash or a stimulant crash. For most people, somewhere after like 2 to 3 hours, maybe about 3 hours after they ingest a lot of caffeine, they do get like fatigue, brain fog, just feeling low. Take some L-tyrosine right there instead of having a meal. You will immediately feel energetic. You'll feel ambitious. You'll really feel inspired to go and do some work again. So that's a good use of L-tyrosine, as well as at the later portion of the day. Let's say if you need a pick-me-up, but you don't want to use caffeine because caffeine is going to prevent you from sleeping, that's when L-tyrosine is very effective. In terms of L-theanine, you would use that almost in a similar manner in which you would use rhodiola rosea and ashwagandha, just to calm you down a little bit. I would only use L-theanine throughout the course of the day if you're somebody that is really experiencing like a lot of stress, or you're trying to get like a more spiritual connection within yourself. Then it could be good because it does some interesting stuff with your brainwaves. NT types. If I had to choose amongst the three, which one is good for studying? Noopept versus oxiracetam or pramiracetam? I would think pramiracetam. Do you think phenylparacetam is great for studying? No, Tejaswi, because it's stimulating, and with phenylparacetam, it's more physically stimulating than it is mentally stimulating. Phenylparacetam, think of it like, there's been times when I've been here, like just working on my computer with phenylparacetam in my system, and no exaggeration, I had to get up, get off my seat, and go for a run and come back, because you just want to get out of your seat. You want to pace around your house. It doesn't make for great studying nootropic unless, I don't know, you're studying with your headphones because you're listening to an audible. I appreciate your videos. I watch a lot of your older videos. I get a lot out of them. Oh, that's good to know, Jason. I'm surprised more people are not watching the older videos. If you guys don't want the long form content, because I realize, yes, you can, like many people, watch some of the newer videos on like ×2 speed. You can get them done in 3 or 4 minutes. Or if you go back to my older videos, and you can organize my videos from oldest to newest, they're very concise. Just now, when I address them, I talk everything: side effects, other people's experiences, and different forms and so forth, right? I commented above, and thank you for, which you haven't read. Thanks again, you're doing great. for helping you haven't read. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, Indian YouTuber. I apologize. I did see that, and I did mean to acknowledge that. Dude, you can get a PhD in nootropic science. Yeah, that's funny. Thanks for that compliment. Mine was an ENTJ. Mine was an ENTJA. Was taken long last year. Okay, very cool. I thought Jen Jax. I thought that you said I wasn't ENTJ and then I changed. That's funny. I was an INTJ once upon a time. Now I am an ENTJ. Guys, for those of you who are super analytical people by nature, I think you should definitely strive to stop seeming like an analytical person on the outside. Because yes, I am an INTJ, but I'm also mindful of the fact that INTJ are generally very boring, robotic people that just you would require a hell long attention span to listen to them. So when you're mindful of that, nobody really wants to be, or that kind of person is not the person that most people want to be in interactions with. They're only going to attract, the 25% of people who are like them, right? So put on some, put on some other mask, and it may get you some sort of results out there that you're hoping for. What are the key differences between choline sources, alpha GPC and CDP choline? Alpha GPC, more of a physical stimulant for some people, and CDP choline, more of a mental stimulant. It's cool, Nicola, that many people now are starting to combine them both. I've tried combining them both. I still like alpha GPC more. For me anyway, mentally it's a lot better. But with alpha GPC, some users do report feeling a little bit of brain fog, even some depression. You'll read about these experiences on Reddit Nootropics. And you'll find a lot, if you look at some of the videos specifically zoned into one nootropic like alpha GPC, if you read throughout the comments, you'll see enough experiences from people to know if a particular side effect is likely going to happen with you too. Best nootropic for anxiety that has actual good results. Lion's mane, that's been really effective for anxiety for me. Great video for bedtime. It's 4 a.m. in Florida. Cool. Does lion's mane work better with alpha GPC? Tobias, I think everything works better with alpha GPC. Confused why you skipped my question. I thought that no, the teenage experiment you asked about melatonin, I don't know anymore. That's the reason why I don't take it. But if you're wondering about like a good source of melatonin, my favorite, which I mentioned in my video Nootropics for sleep, was Dream Water. If you're unfamiliar with Dream Water, man, check out that product. It's like these little energy. It's like the size of a 5-hour energy. Dream Water has melatonin. It has GABA. It has 5-HTP. Yeah, tryptophan, some other amino acids which can get you some good night's sleep. So besides melatonin, I mean, besides Dream Water, I can't think of any other particular brand of melatonin that actually works. But by the way, Dream Water, I have a 20% discount code for all of you that do want to try it. Dream Water, check it out. The Nootropic Reviewer is the discount code. I posted that on my Patreon page. And Dream Water, they were actually on Shark Tank. They pitched the product to the sharks, like Kevin O'Leary and all those people back in the day. So if you look up YouTube Dream Water, super solid product. Nobody recommended me take it. I just went to I saw it in the gas station, gave it a shot, and absolutely love it. So I'm going to be ordering a whole bunch of it. Wouldn't advise it every day, but for those days where you need a little bit of shock to the system, need to wake up earlier than usual, then it's a great nootropic. So Dream Water, check it out. Make a video, and the teenage experiment, Mr. Teenager, I hope you're happy because I answered your question. Hope you didn't log off. Make a video about your personal life. Oh, I'm a pretty open book. What would you like to know? Have you tried phenylprastam every day? Do you have any withdrawal effect when stopping it? Kevin, the answer to that is yes, but it's slight. I took phenylprastam, I think like 20 of 25 days. Yeah. It was like for 3 or 4 weeks straight, I only took Sundays off. And when I came off of it, I mean, I got like a slight, like a slightly lower baseline mood. Nothing that significant though. And guys, don't mind giving this thing a like. I would appreciate that. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of this year. The more subscribers we have here, the better the content. The more I can do things like pay my video editors and stuff. And I appreciate all your feedback. The video editing is getting better. You guys are getting like more like specific, precise bullet points that you can execute on each video. I appreciate the feedback all the time. Does it take time when pramrastam is working versus oxyrastam? P.S. Can you get a fast tolerance to this nootropics? With surprisingly with oxyrastam, I did get you can say build a tolerance to it quicker than the other rastams, but I noticed that one working a lot faster. So perhaps there is something to be said about, if something is more effective, then you're more likely to build a tolerance to it. Pramrastam, though, very effective still, nonetheless. Just with oxyrastam, you do feel like a little bit more alert, a little bit stimulated when you take it, like immediately upon taking it. Even if you take a smaller dose, 200 milligrams to 300 milligrams. How many hours do you work? Tejasvi, it depends, depends how you define work. I've never really had a 9-to-5 job. I've worked in the space of selling residential real estate since age 20 to 21, and it was like 24/7. But I mean, you have your higher per income, like high dollar activities, and then you have your low dollar activities, and the day doesn't end up being super productive at the end. It's like there's a lot of things which we know we should delegate, like paperwork and stuff, but we just don't delegate because that is human nature. When I take tests for cognitive functions, the top thing says introverted intuition, but when taking the Myers-Briggs test, I get ENTP, which is extroverted intuition, so I don't know. That's funny. Maybe it's not that simple. Do you have a video on lion's mane I could watch? Yeah, ab1ul. I'm going to post it right here because I have wonderful hotkeys to all of my videos. So check out that video first. The second video I would recommend you watch is before and after using lion's mane. The third video I would recommend you watch is how to take lion's mane. You'll see that if you're on my channel, you can simply just search lion's mane and you'll be able to find that. Or go to the playlist. If you click on my channel, click playlist, you'll see lion's mane there, and then you get like your 6 or 7 videos. Just binge watch them and you'll understand the nootropic entirely. What nootropic works best for you when you want a good workout in the gym? That'll be caffeine over everything. Overall, though, like a pre-workout, some of my favorite pre-workouts are I like Engine, I like Outlift. I don't like anything by BSN, and the rest of them are not coming to me right now. But if you just look at ingredients themselves, take some caffeine, take some L-tyrosine, take some BCAAs, take some beta-alanine, take some what else? L-arginine, and perhaps some citrulline malate, and you are good. Being that you're an INTJ and you probably have a long-term goal, what is your goal for life or career? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm really enjoying building my passive income, so I've done a few things, made a career shift selling homes to now I hire agents and can make passive income as I train them and stuff, train them on their mindset, train them on their skills, their communication, their systems, and I hope to be moving out of Canada pretty soon, just a matter of time. I can't get mad when some epic nootropics are on the way. And enough about me and my personal life, guys. I want to know more about all of you because you guys know more about me than I know about you, right? A lot of you don't have pictures, and I just get these nice aliases like the Teenage Experiment. I can't get mad when some epic nootropics are on the way. Just give you a like on the sub. Love the content. Okay, then nice. That's good stuff, JR. I didn't know you were not a sub before. I found that black seed oil worked for my anxiety and cleaned my focus. Good stuff. Okay, very cool. Have you tried Shilajit? Yeah, Ms. I mentioned that earlier. The first thing on the live stream, what I did was I went through some of the products which I got from Nootropics Depot. Here's my huge order of, I think it was like almost $1,000 US, came up like 1,400, 1,500 Canadian. And there's my Shilajit. I got it in the powder form and the capsule form, but man, stuff tastes horrible. So I'm really glad I got this in the capsule form. And there's what it looks like, really tiny, potent capsules. It's nice though. I mean, you could take this in the morning, afternoon, or prior to bed. You have a lot of patience. You have replied to almost every single inquiry. Really love it. Yeah, man, it's all about taking work and making work fun in some sort of way, right? Giving yourself a deadline, seeing if you can do it, see if you got the attention span. And I enjoy it. I still try to reply to every single comment on my channel. It's good. How much time does it take for pramrastam to saturate in the system? Similar to Nootropic and oxyrastam, how much time can it take to saturate in the system to see visual effects? Visual effects. I don't know about visual, but to see it working, just off the top of my head, I would say with Nootropic, you can notice that the fastest. You should probably be able to tell it's doing something in 4 or 5 days. Some people notice it working immediately. I was talking to somebody who noticed just taking like 5 milligrams sublingually under the tongue, they were able to feel stimulated, focused, kind of more in state. Pramrastam, I would say about 2 weeks, and with oxyrastam, that's the same. I would say 2 weeks as well. However, there are exceptions to that. With oxyrastam, I did feel somewhat stimulated the first time I took it, but it was such that after a couple of weeks, almost like lion's mane, you could say, it was working 100% and there was no question about it. And you're able to thus afterwards be able to miss a dose, yet still see the benefit. Just bought Tribulus based on your recommendation. Can't wait to see the effect. First day taking it today. How long did it start? How long did it to start feeling the effects? Ms., I'm really curious to know what type of Tribulus you got. In the video, which I mentioned, if you're referring to the video on nootropics to boost your testosterone level, that was the Now, I think it was the Now Sports version. I really hope you got that form because the All Max version, as I mentioned, as well as other forms of it, like bodybuilding.com's brand, some other brands, they didn't do anything for me. So if that is such, then 1 gram in the morning, 1 gram prior to bed, you should feel like morning wood, or you should see something working even within a week's time, or more ambition to go exercise. If you're not, then likely you already have pretty high testosterone levels. Is there a point in taking nootropics? Sorry, guys, give me 2 Mississippis. Is there a point in taking nootropics if I'm already taking a caffeine supplement? Absolutely, Jan, because what's caffeine going to do? It's going to give you energy. Is it going to give you a boost with your memory, your ability to solve, give you an improved ability at making decisions, brainstorming, being a better thinker? I don't really think so. So with caffeine, it's not going to do much besides an energy boost, unfortunately, right? When do you usually sleep? It just depends on the day. Today's Saturday. I took like a nap. Well, I took several naps in the day because I had to be up early and less strict on particular hours that I need to sleep, because now I'm working on this YouTube thing, and a lot of my freelancers that I'm paying are out in the Philippines, or they're out in New Zealand. My video editor, one of my really good video editors right now, is out in the Philippines. So I need to be on opposite time zones sometimes, which I don't mind, right? Do you need to take Pramrastam with some fat like olive oil? No, Damon, you don't. Pramrastam and the Rastams are maybe as effective, if not more effective, fasted from my experience. And a lot of the research or stuff you'll read online does show that this whole fat soluble conversation is nonsense. Someone mentioned yesterday in a group, Ginkgo biloba can increase anxiety. What's your experience? Robbie, you can say that about every nootropic out there. It can increase anxiety in some sort of capacity. So I'm not sure. And with bats, haven't heard that too much about Ginkgo, surprisingly. What country would you leave? Probably. Oh yeah. What country? Yeah, I would definitely move to the States. California, maybe New York. I got alpha GPC 500 milligrams, rhodiola rosea 300 milligrams, bacopa 300 milligrams. So what's the right time to take these to maximize my studying? You can take them when you start studying, or you can take them right in the middle of your studying session. You should be good. Why so serious? Isn't that funny? Why so serious? Ask the question, can you recommend something for anger? And they have such an angry picture. For anger, L-theanine is good, ashwagandha is good, bacopa minieri, and lion's mane. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Those few should really be effective. Even more so, just take some L-theanine, take some ashwagandha a few times a day. You should not be angry anymore. And if you are angry, then likely you're having too many racetams and too many supplements which can increase your dopamine. How's your experience with Shilajit? It's too early to tell because I'm taking it with cordyceps, I'm taking it with chaga and some other stuff. I haven't really noticed much. I'm a beginner. Should I start with taking Piracetam for studying? Can I get it without her? Not sure about that, George. I apologize. Did modafinil work the first time you took it? Yes. As I mentioned, I took our modafinil before I took modafinil. Could definitely tell it was working. And better mood, better focus. Although at the same time, I wasn't expecting it to be like game-changing, kind of like Concerta is. Could tell though. I'm grateful that nootropics are usually effective with me. I got somewhat of a low tolerance. How are you meant to know about stuff about us when there's a dozen of us? The teenage experiment, I didn't actually need to know about every single one of you, but I know a few of you because I've been on video calls, but don't know too much otherwise. I have a good idea as far as like the analytics. They show I've got like 40% of the 40% of the viewers are in the States. I think 15% are people from the UK, 13% from India, then 10% Canada, then there's Australia and a bunch of different countries. But it's hard to tell. So guys, let me know where you are from and what time of the day is it for you. Best overall nootropic brand on Amazon. Nootropics Depot is out there on Amazon, so that would be the best one. I trade for a proprietary trading firm remotely from home. You got me on phenylprastam. That has helped my productivity and focus insanely. I appreciate your content and your info, man. Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, phenylprastam for that kind of work, I could definitely see it working, because with phenylprastam, specifically in the later portion of the day, even for computer work, I feel more focused. Even comparing it to modafinil, you're able to like effortlessly go from task to task, knock off your to-do list. You don't really feel like fatigued or like your concentration is tapering off in any way. What is your 20% code for? I get my stuff from Nootropics Depot. No, the 20% code was for Dream Water, because somebody on the live stream asked about melatonin, to which I mentioned a product called Dream Water. That was what I was referring to. But other discount codes I have, I can't think of it now. I got Cognetics, Neurohacker Collective, so for their whole Qualia line, and probably some other stuff. It's not coming to me like right now. I didn't really make this channel to make money from Amazon or use affiliate links. They kind of just happen. Would you use phenylprastam and armodafinil as an emergency weapon when you are below your baseline energy? Man, I love that. Damon, that is good. Emergency weapon. That's the next video title. My emergency weapon, nootropics. I would use phenylprastam and modafinil. Specifically, like, and I've been playing with this, like 70 milligrams of phenylprastam and 100 milligrams of modafinil is my emergency weapon when I'm below baseline energy. Let's say I'm not well rested. Let's say it's a day where I'm not hitting my workout or I'm not eating properly. Really good stuff. Did you go to university? If so, yeah, I studied business finance, and that was here in Toronto, University of Toronto. Does modafinil work the first time? And that was actually when I discovered nootropics. It was second or third year of school, when one of my friends, really smart, intelligent, bright friend doing well now, he gave me some prastam and some centrophenoxine to try, and I gave it a shot, and I was like, wow, what's next? Mike, thanks for answering my question. You're the best nootropic. Please keep it that way. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. Do you ever take a break from taking nootropics, and for how long? Yes, Maxina, I've done this a number of times at this point because I know what to expect from taking a break. I don't really see why I should. Now I'm a bit more strategic. When I'm taking breaks, I'll take breaks from particular nootropics. Yet to take like 6 months off of nootropics entirely, it's like, what's the point? It's like stopping, stop eating food. So it depends on the nootropic specifically, Maxina. If it's when it comes to nootropics, think about it like there's different categories. There's herbs, which are going to help you fight stress. There's racetams, there's amino acids, and there's stimulants. With the stimulants, with the racetams, those you can say a little bit more important to cycle off of, other things a bit less. Amir Ashraf, I got tribulus extract from, okay, it has a certificate of proof, so hopefully it works. Yeah, hopefully. It's a smaller dose at the end of the day. Abdul, what are your thoughts on NoFap? I really don't know about NoFap. What do you guys think about NoFap? Because with NoFap, sure, there's something to be said about what it can do with your dopamine and such. Although what people may not be taking into consideration with NoFap is that it may require so much willpower to do NoFap that willpower can be expended elsewhere. Like at the end of the day, there's a really good book out there. It's called The Willpower Instinct. And what they talked about in that book is the premise of like, you only have so much willpower during the day. You only have so much. So if you are going to want to use all that willpower towards something like NoFap, that's less willpower left over for something else. So ultimately with NoFap, I don't know, but I believe there's like a cadence. There's a formula you can follow. It's in that book, Game Changers by Dave Asprey, where they kind of show the optimal way in which you should have your FAP occurrence, right? Do you think Noopept or L-theanine would interact badly with the MAO inhibitor like nutmeg? No, I don't think so. They're not really strong enough. Waiting for Qualia Focus review. What is the difference? Qualia Focus, somebody else asked me about that, but I don't know if there's a difference between Qualia Focus and Qualia Mind. There's Qualia Mind Essentials, there's Qualia Mind, there's Qualia Mind Caffeine. Because, yeah, there's Qualia Mind Essentials, there's Qualia Mind, and there's Qualia Mind Caffeine Free. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is prastam and ashwagandha a good combination for studying if I'm a beginner? if I have a beginner N. Yeah, George, like they're okay. I personally not used ashwagandha for studying, so I can't comment on that. John, I have not tried those nootropics. I don't believe I have, unless they have different names to them. How much Shilajit are you taking? I took a whole gram of raisin today. It's super interesting. You should check out Matt Blackman's series on Shilajit. Yeah, with respect to Shilajit, this is the Prime V. What do you guys think? Or how much should I be taking of this stuff in terms of getting the optimal experience with it? The top 5 nootropics for learning new things like analytical skills / memory. Damon, I think that was kind of covered on the video on nootropics for learning, or sorry, nootropics for studying. Have you tried reishi mushroom? I've noticed that reishi extracts are give you focus, and the full spectrum reishi is good for relaxation. Yeah, that's one nootropic. Unfortunately, I forgot to order. Willpower depletion is just an excuse for weakness. Oh my gosh, you should be running for president, man. What time? It's just past 4. Is Damiana a nootropic? I'm not sure about that. Mike, if you could only choose one nootropic from this list that you may want to consume daily for anxiety, SAD, between phenylpyrrostam, lion's mane, tonkat alley, and ashwagandha, which one would you choose? I would choose lion's mane 100%. Do you take black seed? Just started taking it now, actually. So prior to that, nope. I don't feel much with 600 milligrams of adrafinol and 30 milligrams of Nupep. What do you suggest? Blade, I would go in the different direction of nootropics, because maybe the racetams, maybe the phenols don't work for you. So try the adaptogens, try caffeine L-theanine, and try some L-tyrosine. NoFap absolutely works. Yeah, you just asked me my opinion. I was just chiming in there. But I mean, there's more people say that NoFap works versus it not working. And guys, don't mind giving this thing a thumb up if you haven't already. I appreciate that. Best nootropics. And guys, I haven't really heard back from anyone. I'm waiting for responses. What do you want me to review in a future video that I have not reviewed yet? Best nootropics for pro gaming. Gordon's Framans, I would encourage you, look up some nootropic blends for gaming. They're starting to have them up there, giving that gaming is like, it's like a sport now. In the grand scheme of things, though, it looks like stimulants are what's most effective. So think I'm not Concerta. Think caffeine, think of some of the safer stimulants out there, depending on where you are. A lot of users report good results with rhodiola rosea, and I have seen good things with ashwagandha and gaming as well. Your experience with black seed, yeah, sorry about that. It's too early to tell. With all these nootropics, black seed included, it's been less than a week, so I'll let you know. Your take on Qualia shots. What I can say about the Qualia shots was I found the Panics ginseng, or the ginseng, was actually working, and that's one of the only good experiences I've had with ginseng, because that's a tricky nootropic. It's like rhodiola rosea, but it can be, you can feel like slightly irritated while you're taking it. With Qualia shots, just what I don't like about this, and I've told them in conversations with the staff, is that a lot of people are practicing intermittent fasting these days, and Qualia shots are going to interfere with your fast, given that there's calories. However, they've used coconut sugar, I believe, so it's a small amount of calories at the end of the day, but it will unfortunately break your fast, right? It's not ideal. So good stuff though. They don't have the racetams, but it's good, like nice energy boost. If you're going to have some caffeine in the middle of the day, why not take something like Qualia or the Qualia shots? Which nootropics do you take daily, and which do you cycle often? Damon, if you watch the video on creating the best nootropic stack, I pretty much put everything out there. As far as nootropics that I cycle often and don't take regularly, those would be phenylpyrrostam, it would be modafinil, it would be armodafinil. I take phenibut here and there. I take NAC here and there, and I see. Oh yeah, but by the way, this is the phenibut which I was referring to, because the Nootropics Depot version was not that effective for me, so I took all of your advice and got the FA8. And beyond that, no, I can't think of anything beyond that as far as which I cycle off. Then it will be things like Cognetics, the blends, because a lot of those really great companies have been starting to send me some stuff to give a shot to. What's your take on licorice in memory sector? I don't know, Neuron Kush, because it almost seems like half the people don't respond that well to licorice, so I've not been too intentional about trying it out. Lion's Mane 8-to-1 legit breaks my teenage bank. Is the 1-to-1 a good alternative? What does that mean? Oh, teenage bank. That's funny. Yeah, the 1-to-1 still works. Although I make it seem like 8-to-1 is like the best thing ever, other forms of lion's mane work. That's what led me to get the 8-to-1, because when I first started taking lion's mane, what, 5-6 years ago, it's not like Nootropics Depot even existed, right? What's your rhodiola rosea nap and a pill dose? How many times a day and how fast should one feel its effect? I felt the effect the first time I took it personally. Rhodiola rosea, 300 milligrams, 2 times a day, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Should be good. John, thank you for that. Is tryptophan helpful for creativity and learning? If you're somebody, provided that you're somebody that is not like too relaxed, then you should be okay, because tryptophan at the end of the day, it's a good supplement, for relaxing and for sleeping, right? Is resveratrol a nootropic? Ali, it's like asking if blueberry is a nootropic. You can make the argument that it's good at improving your memory, but I would say it's more like, food supplement, right? Capsules or powder? Powder, provided that it doesn't taste horrible. Can you suggest a brand for oxyrastime? Nootropics Depot is something I really like. Before that, New Star Nootropics was good. Smart Powders was good. Serotropic was good. I was taking Primrastime for a month now. At first, it was working. Now I became tolerant to it. What would you suggest? Rafezi, a few things you can do. You can try a different dosage scheme. You can add Paracetam to it or add Aniracetam to it. I like that stacked together, Aniracetam and Primrastime, excuse me, or increase your choline intake. Best thing you can do, though, is take a bit of time off and try different dosages. If you were taking 300 milligrams, let's say 2 times a day, maybe you want to try like 200 milligrams instead 3 times a day, and let me know how that goes. Could you make a video about natural herbal testosterone boosters like Tonkat? Damon, I made a video recently on top 4 nootropics for naturally boosting your testosterone. I don't know if you've seen that, but the video in summary was like, I talked about ZMA, which I've got over here. I talked about Tonkat Ali. I talked about Tribulus, and then I think the 4th. And otherwise, I'll let you all know about my nootropics here and what's been working. This is the ashwagandha version Shodan, which I mentioned briefly. A lot of you have been telling me to go ahead and supplement with, and it looks quite different compared to other forms of ashwagandha. It's like this brown form. You could tell it's working more than the KSM 66 and the other forms. So I think this is my new favorite version of ashwagandha. Perhaps I'll talk about this because I'm going to be shooting a couple videos tomorrow. And I appreciate all of you guys. Let me know what you want me to review in a future video. Really, really enjoy engaging with all of you, viewing all your comments, viewing your experiences, knowing that you're appreciative of this content. And let's all stay in touch with each other. When videos come out, then do drop a comment, because your comment is not only good for me for the feedback, but it's also good for everyone else. And this becomes a nice community of everyone educating each other on their journey with nootropics. And take care, guys. Have a good night. Take care, and let's have a fabulous November.